Hey guys, what's up? We're back with some more WarFrame action, and today I'm going to be doing a series of videos on damage. Now, there are a lot of damage types in the game, alright? And it can get a bit confusing as to which one's good and which one's bad, so that's what I'm going to be doing. A series of 3 videos talking about physical damage, impact, puncture, slash, IPS, one on the single elementals, cold, electric, heat, toxin, and one on the combined elementals being blast, corrosive, gas, magnetic, viral, and radiation. We'll be talking about what's good about them, what's bad about them, when you should use them, and when you should probably avoid them. Alright? Pretty simple stuff, let's get into it. So, let's talk about the physical damage types, IPS. We're going to make a broad statement, something you should remember when we get into the details about these damage types, which is that generally speaking, you don't usually care about physical damage. It's mostly meaningless in the long run. If you're hoping to use a high status weapon for some physical status procs, you'll find that when you equip those 60-60 mods, your 60 elemental damage, 60 status chance mods, to get a lot of status chance on your weapon, you'll end up with better status procs from the elementals that you're equipping anyway, so that at that point you stop caring, right? But since they exist, there are a couple of things that you should keep in mind when you are doing, when you are modding your weapons, and just remembering some of the things that these damage types have to offer. Alright, let's start off with impact. There's only 2 things that are good about impact damage, and that is the stagger proc, which is a bit of a crowd control thing, and if you're using a melee weapon with even a little bit of with even a little bit of impact damage, you have something called Shattering Impact, which we'll talk about in a second. Otherwise, impact damage is good against shields, but... Alright, what's bad about impact damage? Well, it simply does less damage against Grineer, and not just Grineer armor, we're talking about Grineer flesh, so even if you completely strip the armor off a Grineer target, your impact damage is still going to do less damage, so... Yeah, it's pretty crap against Grineer, don't use it. Which, I guess, will bring us to when to avoid using impact damage against Grineer. When would you ever use impact damage? Well, if you're using a melee weapon with at least a little bit of impact damage, you would have access to something called Shattering Impact. This is a really good mod for stripping armor, which ironically enough makes you weaker against Grineer anyway, because impact damage does less damage against Grineer flesh. But you can still get rid of armor really quickly based on how that mod works. I would suggest checking out the wiki for understanding that mod. It is a little bit special, it is a little bit different to how corrosive damage works. And of course, stronger against shields, so use it against Corpus, I guess, question mark? But otherwise, every other scenario I can think of, or every other scenario you can think of, don't use impact damage. It's horrible. Puncture damage is the next physical damage type. Now, what's so great about puncture damage? Nothing! There's only one thing that's good about puncture damage, and that is that it does more damage against Grineer armor. However, that bonus is also mitigated by Grineer armor, so... Okay, moving on. What's bad about puncture damage? Well, the one thing that I really don't like about puncture damage is that its status proc is completely and utterly meaningless. Generally speaking, you don't care about your enemies doing less damage when you can kill them really quickly. So, who cares? When would you use puncture damage? Well, against Grineer, that's about it, but even then, you're better off using something like corrosive, who cares? When would you avoid using puncture damage? Against Corpus, because puncture damage does less damage against shields. But then again, you basically not use it ever because it's kinda crap. Alright, let's talk about the next one, which is slash damage. Now, slash damage is different to impact and puncture in that it is really good. Let's explain why it's really good, because slash damage has access to something called the bleed proc. The bleed proc is a damage over time proc, or a dot, that goes through shields and armor. So armor does not mitigate this in any way, shape, or form. Shields don't care. Well, they can't care. Slash damage just burns through everything, right? You'll find that a general consensus is that a lot of the higher tier weapons in every category are slash based weapons. For example, Tigress Prime, Euphona Primes, Dread, friggin' Soma Prime, used to be anyway. Yeah, there are a lot of slash-based weapons. Anyway, yeah, there are a lot of slash-based weapons that are super duper strong. Gram Prime, Galatine Prime, super duper strong, right? Also, high crit chance weapons are very, very good at getting slash procs as well. We'll talk about that in a second. What's bad about slash damage? Well, there's only one thing that's bad about slash damage, and that is the slash damage itself is mitigated by Grineer armor. The damage itself, not the proc, just the damage itself is mitigated by Grineer armor. But alright, when would you use slash damage? Well, if you have a high crit primary weapon of any kind, I'm pretty sure shotguns are included in this, you'll want to use that because then you have access to something called Hunter Munitions. Hunter Munitions is a set mod, but who gives a crap about the rest of the set? Hunter Munitions is a mandatory mod because it gives high crit weapons access to slash procs, and a lot of slash procs, okay? 30% chance to get a slash proc if you do a critical hit. The thing about that is, slash procs take into account all damage when it comes to the calculation. That includes the damage of the weapon already. Crits, elementals, other shenanigans. All of that comes together to form a slash proc that'll one-shot a level 130 heavy bombard if you're using something like Vectis Prime with a decent Riven. My Riven is actually pretty good and I really, really like it. So, you know, the slash procs can kill a lot of things really quickly, like holy crap. Shotgun types, for example, Tigress Prime, Euphona Prime, etc., if they can reach 100% status chance, oh boy, if they're slash based, oh, they can destroy everything. Two Tigress Prime shots will kill a level 130 heavy gunner, no problem, I think. Yeah, the bleed will kill them immediately. Like, you do end up building it for radiation viral damage as well, so you also get that viral proc, but all of those come together to kill a really, really high level enemy really, really quickly. Alright? There's only one time I can think of where you probably want to avoid slash damage. And that's if you're using a high crit chance or low crit chance, low status, non-primary weapon. If you're using a low crit chance primary weapon that also has no status, it's probably trash tier, or it has some other thing that's good about it, but these weapons are the weapons where slash damage is meaningless. You're probably better off using some other damage type such as a combined elemental at that point. Alright, that's IPS, your physical damage for you. Alright, let me know what you think about these damage types in the comments below. In the next video, I will be talking about single elementals, and due to the cosmetic nature of these damage types with things such as melee weapons, I will be doing that more in a live, more interactive format, so, you know, it'll be a little bit different to how this video works. Alright, if you like this video, hit the like button. If you really enjoyed this video, maybe hit the subscribe button, and until next time, I'll see you guys later. Thanks for watching. Bye!